All right, so this is question 6, and it's really just testing our ability to, I guess, evaluate switch statements, or maybe evaluate wasn't the right word, but like read and trace switch statement code. It's actually buggy switch statement code, but that's besides the point. Um, we only have one class, right? It's just main, so we're probably not going to run into an issue where we're accessing private data or we're accessing a static field in the wrong way or a static field is using a non-static variable. We're not going to run into all that junk here. We just have to see what this is going to print out, right? So of course, starting from right here, we have score is equal to 65, and then we do, well, I guess we evaluate what's inside of the switch sort of conditional statement here. So what do we get here? We have to evaluate this first. So like we use that left to right principle here. And what we're going to do is 65, right? Scores value divided by 10. Now remember, this is integer division, right? 65 and 10 are both themselves ints, so we should expect an int at the very end, right? So if you were to do this without integer division, it would have been 6.5. But of course, because it is integer division and we expect this to be an integer, we just kind of remove the decimal and anything to the right of it, right? So then we get 65 over 10 integer division is 6. So with that, right, we have to evaluate the next part of the switch statement. Don't just do this and move on, right? Of course, we have to mod it by 6. So take the total you just got from here, which happened to be 6, right? So 6 mod 6. Basically, take as many 6s as you can out of 6, and what are you left over with? You can take one 6 out of 6, and you're left with nothing, right? So you're left with 0. So because this evaluated to 0, we should start off with case 0, right? You know, had it evaluated it to 1, then you'd start off over here. If it evaluated it to 6, you'd start over here. If it didn't evaluate to any one of these guys, you'd start off at the default case, right? So we happen to evaluate at 0, so here is where we are going to start, right? We have system.out print 0. It literally is just as simple as that, right? Just print out a 0. Now, traditionally, you would have some sort of like a break statement. And what that would do is it would get you out of the switch and it would get you to the next line, right? So getting out of the switch would mean that we ended up right here if we had a break statement. This switch case doesn't have any, right? So what that entails is I guess we have to like sort of like progress until we either find a break statement or we run the default case, right? So let's go search for that. Let's go search for a break statement, or let's search for the default case. So what are we going to do? We're gonna go to the next line, right? Case one. Case one does nothing, right? So after doing nothing, we're going to go to case 6, right? And we're going to do exactly as it tells us because this is not a break statement, right? So I'm just gonna print out 1, right? And now, thankfully, I have found the default case. So I'm gonna go run what the default case wants me to run, and then after that, I get to break out of the switch statement, right? So we're just gonna print out 2, and now we are at we're outside of the switch statement, and now we're over here at this if, right? So if score, which is 65, integer division by 10 is equal to 6, we're gonna print out 3. Now we've already done that, right? We've already done that integer division, right? Score hasn't changed at all. So 65 integer division by 10 is still equal to 6, right? So it's basically saying is 6 equal to 6? It is. So the if statement runs and we have to do this now. We have to print out a 3. So we're going to do exactly that. We get an output of 0, 1, 2, 3, and we look at our answer choices, and that does happen to be an answer choice. So we would select A, and now we can go ahead and check. And it would appear that that is the correct answer. See you on the next.